Full disclosure, aliens are real, and the government is covering it up. Disclosure Day 2026, directed by the legendary Steven Spielberg. Let's get into this movie review because this was quite an interesting one. This movie, by the way, was recommended to me by a coworker, and I just said, "Hey, yeah, I mean, why not? I'll check it out for sure." So I went to the movies, I checked it out, and I do have a couple of things to say about it. So let's begin with the first category, the first star, and that is the acting. So let's talk about the acting in this movie because Emily Blunt is the star of this movie. She is absolutely, and she's done some amazing work in her career, but Disclosure Day is top notch in her performance, as her performance. She really brings that character to life in this movie. She does a really good job in this movie. Every single scene that she was in just skyrocketed. Every scene that she was in, I was like, man, let me see some more of Emily Blunt. So she did such an incredible job in this movie, as well as being possessed, I guess, if you will, by an extraterrestrial life. This was all in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler. But she did such an unbelievable job in this movie. So the acting gets a star from me. That is 1 star already right there. Let's talk about the second category in this movie review grading system. The second category here is the plot. Let's talk about the plot. The plot in this movie is quite simple. It's not hard to follow at all. The story is really, really, really good in this movie. The idea that we are not alone in the universe. And that is what Disclosure Day is all about. Disclosure Day is about revealing that information to the public, a full transparency. That's what the idea of the movie is. That's what the story. There's more to the story. There's more to the movie than just that. But I don't want to give too much away. That is basically just the idea of the story, and the story absolutely carried this movie for me. It was mind blowing, such a mind blowing story, and presented very well. So the plot gets a star from me. That is 2 stars right there. The third category is cinematography. The cinematography, I mean, let's just face it, man. This movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, the legendary Steven Spielberg. And so, obviously, the lighting in this movie was perfect. There were so many cool shots in this movie, so many things that I cannot give away right now, because it'll spoil the movie for you. But the lighting is perfect. The shots were gorgeous. They were eye popping. I did see it on the big screen, of course. So the shots were amazing in this movie. So the cinematography is going to get a star from me right there. That's 3 stars. 1, 2, and 3 so far. The fourth category, the fourth star here is the what is the fourth category? The pacing. I'm always forgetting that. I'm always forgetting that word. The fourth category here is the pacing. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the pacing for me, the pacing worked for me. It worked really well for me in this movie, but the pacing is not what I expected. Now, this movie is over 2 hours long. Okay, 2 hours and 25 minutes, I believe. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes, and this movie did not feel that long. It did not feel like 2 hours long. The pacing was so good in this movie, because it started off fast-paced, right? It starts off fast-paced, and then the next scene is slow-paced, and then the next scene right after that is high-paced. So fast-paced, slow-paced, fast-paced, slow-paced. It kind of had this roller coaster pace, if you will, this up and down pace throughout the entire movie, and it really worked for me. It worked really well for me. That's one of the things I was kind of worried about in this movie, is because the pacing in this movie, because this movie is over 2 hours long. So the longer you make the movie, the more of a risk you run with the pacing. The more precise the pacing has to be, the more precise the pacing has to work in order to keep this movie going. And I really love what Steven Spielberg did with the pacing, creating tension and creating those spectacular moments on screen. So the pacing gets another star from me right there. That's 4 stars. And last but not least, the final category is the music. So, did the music enhance the movie? Now, the music didn't really bother me at all. It didn't distract me. So that's a good thing. But there isn't too much music in this movie. I don't know, maybe that was just me. Maybe I was too focused on and too drawn into the movie because it was that good. So maybe it was just me being too drawn into the movie to not notice the music. But the music did enhance the final scene of this movie. The last scene, the very last scene, which I'm not going to spoil for you, but it enhanced the final emotional scene in this movie. So the music gets a star as well from me. So Disclosure Day earns a total of 5 out of 5 stars. So, Disclosure Day. Is it A, worth seeing in theaters, B, rented on streaming services, or C, don't waste your time? The answer is A, worth seeing in theaters. So make sure you go and grab that movie ticket, grab that large popcorn and Pepsi and soda, Coca-Cola, slushy candy, whatever the hell you drink at the movie, whatever you do at the movie theaters, and go and watch Disclosure Day right now, because I highly recommend it. That being said, I'm David Starks. As always, I will see you next time with another movie review.